Hey guys, I just wanted to make a quick video. Outside of what Baja Designs have made in terms of which lenses to use and zoning, I haven't really seen much real world applications. So I kind of just wanted to do a test myself, and hopefully this helps you out. As you can see up here, I'm using the Squadron Pros, and at the bottom I'm using Squadron Sports. Big difference between the two. I ended up getting another set of Squadron Pros and another set of Squadron Sports. By far, I think the most budget friendly pods out there are the Squadrons. And with all that said, what do you use, and which lens do you use, and what is going to be better for your application? So what I did is I kept it the same, still have the Squadron Pros up top, Squadron Sports, but now what we'll do is we ended up switching these lenses. Now these are the clear lenses, but they still the driving combo setup. And then at the bottom we have the wide cornering setup. So yeah, kind of just wanted to see what the differences were, see if I can go with a better setup for my application. I do not do a ton of night off-roading. If anything, it's really just to get to a camping spot. So hopefully we'll be able to get some results that can ultimately help me, but also give you an option if you do decide to buy a set for yourself, and which lenses to go with, so you can save money. And yeah, so all right, so I mentioned to you at top I have the driving combo setup. This is my current setup. Now with all that said, I noticed that a lot of people, the main intention for the ditch light, especially with it being on the side right by the hood, is that you want it pointed out this way. With that said, I only really have 2 spots available to mount lights for my truck. I do have another portion here. I could put some Baja Designs as well, but with the winch being there and my need to sometimes get back here to use the controller if the remote is dead on battery, I figured I probably don't want to put anything here because it makes it a lot more inaccessible. Now with that, I'm going to decide to keep them pointed out this way, whether or not the light bounces off of the hood. Now what I do want to be able to tell is I want the top portion to be more of a spot. I'm unsure if I want to I like that just because of the reflection of the hood, and I do know that it does affect it quite a bit when I am driving. But yeah, so I'm trying to figure that out, whether I just want to point these out on the side and have them for more wide cornering, but we'll see. I don't know. I feel like this would be a good test. Now on the bottom, these work perfect. I feel like I've used them a lot, especially on dust, because they are mounted to the bottom. They are perfect, especially during the fog. I've used them on a snowstorm and they work great. People in front of you can see you, and most importantly, you're able to see a lot better in the snow and in the dust. So let's go to the other side. Now on the other side, I do have the driving combo set up here. Now it is clear. I already don't think I'm gonna like this, but hey, we're here to kind of experiment a little bit. So we have the driving combo where it's spot at the top and then wide cornering. You kind of have the best of both worlds, which is why a lot of people end up going with this kind of lens. And then at the bottom we have here just the wide cornering lens. But yeah, hopefully this helps you guys, and then we'll have some real off-road test weather with more maybe closer range off-roading, so you're able, if you want to see a little bit closer to you, and one that's a little bit farther in the distance, maybe in a valley. All right, so going to do a quick clip with a little bit more close distance. When you're doing, when you're off-roading, you're not just You don't just have flat land where you're able to see super far from you or quite a distance. So this is a little bit more of a close distance video. So here are the fog lights. I could see the wide cornering light really shining for this one, just because you do have a little bit more view, especially if you have to turn around or you're trying to see to your right or your left. And these are the ditch lights, clear and amber. Solo. Solo. Just from this test, I could immediately tell that the wide cornering kind of wins for this kind of situation. All right, here now is the wide angle view with the iPhone. I kind of like the clear setup on the left side. Maybe that's something I'm gonna try to keep on this car just to see if I like it. It feels like, I don't know. I mean, with right now there's no dust, so which is nice. So I could definitely get away with it with the clear light. Maybe a mix would be good. I don't know. It looks kind of weird on the truck, but whatever. But from just from my use, I don't think I'm gonna use the wide cornering light as much as I would like the driving combo setup on the fog lights. So I think I'm gonna go definitely with the driving combos at the bottom. And then, yeah, so it's just kind of from my experience here immediately, but definitely want to do some testing before I switch things up with a little bit of dust control. All right, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of a more centered view so you guys can see it. I can immediately tell, just from putting it in the center, you can tell the difference between the wide cornering on the bottom on the driver's side versus the passenger side, which has the driving combo. So it just doesn't go as wide as the driver's side, where you could see here on the passenger side, it gets kind of cut off pretty quick, where I could still see a pretty good distance to my left on the driver's side. Here's with it solo, a little bit more of a, you can definitely tell the difference here because you don't have the other lights on. And then let's do the ditch lights solo. I'm definitely gonna switch that passenger side, flip it upside down how it's normally intended to be, with the spots up top and the wide cornering on the bottom. All right, guys, so we are here to test these lenses, test the results in real time. Now, something I changed is all 4 corners are now Squadron Pros. The only differences now with all these 4 lights are the lenses. I know I apologize. I ended up switching them just because I just know that there's a big difference between the pros and the sports. So I would say about 45, maybe 35 to 45% increase in light output. So I just went, you know what, let's just do all 4 corners, make them pros. Now, with that said, in this testing, we have here, the road is wet, so we won't really see any dust and how the amber is going to respond and how the clear light is going to respond to the dust, nor will we see any fog. So I'll try to post a video on that as well, but just kind of wanted to give you guys the circumstance. So here we go. Here it is. You can see the amber and clear. And then here we have the wide cornering and the driving combo. So we'll drive with it just a little bit, just so you guys can see. Now, from just what I'm looking at right now, the white light, with it not being dusty, I would say I prefer over the amber lens. I did change up, I forgot to mention this, I did change up the passenger side. I switched the way that the driving pattern combo, so I flipped it upside down. So the spot is actually at the bottom and the wide cornering is at the top. Where this driving combo, the wide cornering, it's done how it's originally set up, wide cornering at the bottom, and then spots up top, and you can kind of see the difference. So here we go. Like I mentioned, I can immediately tell I like the driving combo setup with the spots up top, how it's originally set up. So spots up top, wide cornering on the bottom. I like the left side better. Points out more in the direction that I want it. So more on my just straight, I would say more out that way versus pointed to the ground on this side. And with it being clear, right now I definitely prefer the clear just because everything's dry and I get more of a clearer vision of what's in front of me. Now usually living in San Diego, I would say I prefer amber lens pretty much any time of the year, just because it's always pretty dusty out here. Alright guys, so here is the actual application for being in a fog. You can see there's actually a little bit of snow particles in the fog. On my left, pod light in the roof, or in the hood is clear, and then on the right is the amber. You can tell that the amber light on the right side actually penetrates through the particles much better than the white light. So in terms of wide cornering at the bumper, I can see much more farther on my left side, which is nice. So obviously these aren't dust conditions, but this is a fog condition, which is similar to dust, but this one's actually pretty thick fog conditions. Alright guys, so here is my final setup. I totally lied. What I ended up doing was doing wide angle at the top and point it out so that the light is not bouncing on the hood. And then in the bumper we have a driving combo. So the reason I ended up doing this, and I'm sure I'll switch it around, is because I want a wider view, especially at night. And because it already reflects so bad on the hood, especially on dust conditions, I just don't think that I'm using the best use for this application with it being mounted here. I think this is obviously what it's made for, so that it's a corner light, so that you can see around the corner, and that if you have it up here, it just doesn't do as good of a job as the fogs, so because of that light bounce.